Hello, in this video I want to talk to you about bodily autonomy. And if you'd seen my previous video on pre-existing conditions, this seems like a perfect way to segue and continue that conversation a little bit. Because in that video I talked about correct muscle patterning, and bodily autonomy is about you, in part, there's so many parts to it, learning these patterns, learning these patterns, but also looking for your own personal patterns. And we've all got them. And when I say patterns, I also mean behaviors, because, you know, as a coach, we have a saying, how we do one thing in life is how we do everything in life. So I'll tell a little client story, and I don't mention any names. One of my many clients, she's a go hard woman, and she's been in physically fit and strong her whole life. And, you know, in her, I think early 70s now, come to Pilates, really wonderful body, beautiful muscular development. But, you know, she's got a lot of injuries that she's developed from being the go hard woman. And I can relate to this because I'm a bit of like to think I was previously a bit of a go hard girl. You know, this just means we're hard on our body. We like, you know, strong work. And so, you know, she's been coming to Pilates for quite a while now and had different injuries flare up. I talked about old pre-existing conditions that flare up, come and go. And, you know, she keeps flaring up her injuries. And, you know, even under good advice from myself, you know, I might say, I really don't recommend that. Like I like to give people the choice. This bodily autonomy is what we're talking about, is where I make a suggestion and you take on board that suggestion, and you ultimately make your own personal choice about, do you do that movement? So I might say, I suggest that you don't do that movement. We do the one before that, which was a modification, say, of the challenge. So you'll often hear me say, if you want the challenge. Just because I say, if you want the challenge, doesn't mean you have to take the challenge. This is where your choice comes in. Now, sometimes we don't know if we're going to hurt ourselves. But I just know through experience that, you know, certain things are not good for those conditions. If I truly know that that is very bad for you, I will say, you're not going to do that one, you're going to do this one instead. But generally, I'm the sort of teacher that, you know, I want you to develop your own awareness and be in charge of your body, recognize your patterns and your behaviors. So when I was talking about this client just a moment ago, it was more than her behavior of go hard, got to take the challenge no matter what. At all costs, I'm taking that challenge. That's behavior. So, you know, this is a little bit on the self-development side of things, which is what I'm very interested in my world. So this bodily autonomy can take time for people to develop. And, you know, I might say, you know, you're in charge of your body. And you might think, of course I'm in charge of my body. I make all the decisions that I want for my body. But it's these behaviors, these subconscious behaviors that creep in to and I'm talking about in the context of Pilates, and they affect how you move. They affect your behavior in class, or when you exercise. So I encourage you to look for signals and listen and notice, not just how you do things here in Pilates, but how you do things in life. You barge at a gate. My dad is barge at the gate. He runs around the house, he bumps into things, he's forever got bruises because his behavior is that he doesn't slow down. His old body, but got the mind that doesn't stop. So these are things, are signals, and this is about you noticing your behaviors so that you can have a greater level of bodily autonomy. Why would we want bodily autonomy? So that we don't harm ourselves. I'd like you to consider about trusting your body. You know, when you come to class, we are not the God. Yes, we are highly experienced. You know, you've worked with me. I'm very experienced, but ultimately, you know, I'm not the guru. I want you to trust your body. And also in the context of trust your body to do a little more, because, you know I talk about safety, and I know I talk about a stop when there's pain, all of those things. I have to say those things. There's a flip side to that. Sometimes these pre-existing conditions and things actually prevent us from progressing because we're in this protective mode. I've had a shoulder bursitis. I've got the shoulder bursitis. It's like, I'm protecting. So there's a physiology to protecting, and I'm always going to just keep this shoulder close to my chest because it keeps me protected. However, I'm going to ask you to open it up, and it hurts. Yes, but we need to get the length in that shoulder. So there's a balance once more. There's a fine line between being too protective of our old injuries. We don't want to come to class with injuries. We want them to be cleared and signed off by a physio or doctor before you come to class or before you exercise. But yeah, coming back to my point, I just want you to trust your body to be able to progress, because we can all progress. We can all get more out of our body. We do not want to flatline. If you feel like you're flatlining and just not really progressing in your Pilates, talk to me, because love a good challenge, and happy to help you break through that ceiling of I can't. I hear it in class, it triggers me. Not many people say that around me. It's like, really, you can't? Let's see what you can do rather than focusing on what you can't do. Be consistent with your Pilates. If you're nursing something that you're a little bit protective of, consistency is the only way that you will really work through it. Collect the data. You're doing a particular movement. So I'll often have clients say, I hurt myself at Pilates. I go, okay, well, what did you do? Oh, I don't really know. Or what exercise specifically did you do? This is this taking notice. Side note, sometimes we actually don't know. But this is my point about being consistent. Be consistent in that thing. I hurt myself doing single leg stretch. Okay, let's do that more to see where is the pain point. We all have a pain point. Doesn't necessarily mean physical pain. Pain point could just mean the point where the movement breaks down, where it just stops working, it stops being effective. You stop engaging your core, you stop engaging your muscles, that sort of thing. So collect the data on, before you make this decision, because we're talking about bodily autonomy. You can't make an informed decision about a particular thing without having that data, those data points. Sounds very sciencey, right? One more point, a couple more points probably. This video is getting a little bit longer than what I thought. Be open to the new learning. I understand, there's sometimes resistance to my desire for you to progress. It's important that you feel safe with that progression. Just invite you to be more curious, not be so rigid around your preconceived ideas of what your body is capable of. Be open to the new learning. So I hope this has been a little bit helpful on the topic of building bodily autonomy. Remember, make comments, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this subject. And I look forward to also seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.